This is going to be chaos. I'm here for it.
Okay.
So, hi, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much.
This is our first time meeting and I'm loving it.
Oh my God. Good luck for the next hour.
So, I just asked when you came in because you're known as Jellies, Salon, Jilly and Friends.
Yep.
So I was like, are you Jill or Jilly? But we're Jill.
We are Jill.
Yeah.
I actually did a video on this recently because it gets so confusing. Some people come in, they're like, Jill, Jelly, and I'm like, doll, I've been called a lot worse, so whatever you're most comfortable with. But it is actually Jill, literally just Jill. It's so shit, but it's Jilly because my pet name by my dad, God love him, and my husband, my aunts, everyone calls me Jelly. So it's like a pet name. So that's the reason why Jellies is called Jellies. So,
and I love that it's called Jilly and Friends.
Yeah.
I think that's so, how do I even describe it? Like, so like personable. Because it's not just like a horrible, boring word. It's like, and friends. It just makes you feel so like, oh, cute. This is dead nice.
I think it used to be like Jellies for years when I had a shop in Falkirk, and then I had another one in Paisley, then we moved up to Barrhead. But the problem was I don't really like, as much as like I'm probably, people would describe me as quite a big personality, I don't really like it to be all about like, oh, this is the me show and you're all just pawns in it. I'm not really like that. So the shop itself, Jellies, does not have a sign. I don't know if you know this.
No, it doesn't.
No, we don't have a sign.
It's just really like decorated.
Well, the thing is, it's not just about me, it's about all the people that I work with. And anybody that's worked with me in the past and present will know that I just kind of want us all just to muddle together. It's a team effort. I'll help you, you help me. And it's not just it's not just Jellies. It's Jilly and whoever else is there. And to be honest, Jellies wouldn't be a thing if it wasn't for the people I worked with as well, because even though it's somebody's name, it's not really, it's just an actual nickname, but it's a collective of people. And honestly, if it wasn't for all those people that I've worked with over the years, it wouldn't be where it is now. And there's been so many like successful people that have come and left Jellies that have done like went on to do better things, but you know, no one is bigger than that business, you know, at the time when you're in it, because we're all in it together. So it's Jellies, but it's not really just about me, it's about everyone that I work with. And the Jilly and Friends bit is because half of them have become my best pals. So it's quite nice. I don't really feel like I go to work most days. It's a laugh.
So take me all the way back to, let's start your story. Like, how did you end up where you are today? Like, where did it begin?
So, oh God, where did it begin? So I was a student way back when, and I actually worked in marketing as well with the same as you. Yep. So I worked in the sales and marketing department for a company who owned a wedding magazine. So so when I left school, then I did a season in Ibiza. I was a dancer, not a stripper, just to point that out, because everyone always says that, because I've got some good friends from that industry and like I'm still pals with, and I'm like,
who are strippers?
No, but this is it. We were not strippers. We were podium dancers, and that was a privilege back then. Honestly, it was a bloody privilege. I danced in Amnesia and Eden, so I danced for like Pete Tong and
oh my God.
Yeah, honestly, I know this doesn't look it because this waistcoat is so tight, but this was all really good back in the day. So anyway, cut a long story short, was at school, didn't do that well. I've got ADHD, diagnosed that I've been medicated for a long time. So I left school and was like, I've got no idea what I want to do. Like, I just was like, so left school, worked in Fraser's for years, then went to Ibiza. That's the whole point of this. Went to Ibiza, was a dancer for 2 seasons, not a stripper. And then after that, I came back and I weirdly won an internship at Radio 1.
You won an internship?
Yeah, I won an internship, right? Because it was just solely based on, I did hospital radio. I forgot to mention that. So I did hospital radio when I was at school. So I did hospital radio as well as not having a clue what I wanted to do. Went and sessioned it in Ibiza for 2 seasons, came back and applied for an internship at Radio 1 and I got it. And I'm like, I'm absolutely imposter syndromed out my nut here. 100%. I was like, I am getting caught out when I go down here. So anyway, I went down, stayed with my mum and dad's pals in Islington, and did this internship and then ended up living in Brighton for like a year or so. Worked at Radio 1, worked at a nightclub, and then I was like, I need to get a job. Like, I need to go home and sort out my life. So came back when I was 22.
So what were you doing at the radio?
So when I was down at Radio 1, I worked in the PR department, and I sat in the PR team for Chris Moyles and
no way.
Yeah, Fern Cotton, and Greg James was just up and coming back then.
So, like, did you know them all? Did you hang out with them?
No, like you're like the peasants that work in the office. I got to sit in the Sarah Cox's show though. That was really cool. She's my favourite. She's on Radio 2 now.
Yeah,
but
she's not Scottish.
No, that's Edith Bowman.
Oh,
can tell I'm a bit of a radio whore. Yeah, I do. So I went down there, did that, and then came back up the road and started working for a wedding magazine in the sales and marketing department. It's quite a big magazine, and it still is going to this day. I think it was the best Scottish weddings at the time, and now it's called Tie This Knot Scotland.
Oh, I've heard of it.
Yes. So I worked there. It was fine. It was okay. But what I realised very quickly was office jobs are not for me. So I literally would sit in my bum and I'd be like 9:05. Right, does anyone want a coffee? And then I'd piss off to the kitchen for 3 hours to chat. Wasn't for me. So after that, I was like, when I was still there, I was like, I don't really know what to do. And I always liked hair extensions, right? So at this point, to point this out, I genuinely had a mullet like Jimmy Savile, and I'm not seriously bad.
Are you going to get a picture so we can pull it up?
I could probably find a picture. It was really bad. It was like a burnt off, like blonde mullet. It was like so bad. And sorry to bring up that horrible name, but that's what like people in my family said my hair looked at, and at the time he actually wasn't prosecuted, so it wasn't that bad. It is now though. So true. This is a true story. So then I was like, I hate my hair. I just hate it. And I always loved hair extensions. But at that time, I don't know if you remember, but like Victoria Beckham and all the wags were at the World Cup and they were all wearing them, and it was just such an expensive thing that you were like, how am I ever affording that? So because my hair was that bad, my mum felt sorry for me. She bought me a set and I got them done up the town, and they were horrific. But I genuinely thought I was Paris Hilton from The Simple Life. I thought I was like stunning, right? So got these hair extensions in, and I'm like, how am I going to keep these? Like, how is this good? Because it was like 650 quid, which was even expensive back then.
Aye, that's a lot of money back then.
And it was quite a well-to-do salon in Glasgow. So I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? So I had SAS payment, right, from like uni, and I thought, I know what I'll do. I'll go and take myself on a course with this money and down to do my own. Now, obviously, looking back, that's ridiculous. I mean, how you're meant to glue hair around the back of your own head is stupid. But at the time, I thought,
genius.
Yeah. So I went all the way down to Newcastle,
right?
Trained for a week at a place called Foxy Locks, and became a hair extension technician. And so, as well as working in the magazine, started doing hair extensions and started doing them people's in kitchens and all that. I'm still paying that sass back, but that's but
it was worth it.
But it was worth it. And then that was where the love came from. So I started doing people's kitchens, and then my two really good friends, Connie and Nikki, their business was in the Stirling arcade because they were from out that way. So I would go over to their clothes shop with a deck chair and do like hair once a month in their clothes shop, literally on a deck chair. So it started off once a month, and then through that way at that time, extensions weren't really like a massive thing for the ones that I could do anyway. So I started doing it and became more and more popular. Then I ended up saying to the girls, kind of need a backwash because this isn't really this isn't professional.
My deck chair.
I know, listen, a professional wasn't really something I've grasped at all in my professional career. And then I ended up working in Tony and Guy. So I went to Tony and Guy in Stirling. That was such a nice team. My guy Richard owned that franchise. Was there for a good few years, and then I decided it's time to open up my own. So I went to Falkirk, and that's where I kind of started the Jellies journey.
Is that where you're from?
No, I'm from Newton Mearns.
Why would you have Falkirk?
Because it was again, this is what I mean. I don't really think of anything like practical, right? So it was like, oh, my pals have a shop in Stirling, I'll work there, and then I'll go from there to Falkirk because it's cheaper to rent there. You know, it was just I'll
commute to Falkirk every day.
Yeah, like as I said, I don't ever make anything that easy for myself. So so that's how the journey of the shops began, and it just has grown arms and legs and tails ever since. But yeah, it's definitely done a 360 over the last 2 years, I would say. Things have changed, but I can genuinely say I'm probably the happiest I've ever been, with a few bumps in the road. But yeah, it's been great so far.
That's awesome. So how long have you been in Barrhead then?
Barrhead, we've been there 3 years.
Is it?
3 years. That team though, we were all in Neilston Road. We were in Neilston Road.
Whereabouts?
So do you know there's a wee girl from Barrhead that's actually just taken my old shop on?
Blonde bimbo?
No, I know Claire. I know Claire well. She's lovely. She's up the road. No, it's a girl called, I think, Caitlin Lashes.
Oh,
it's called Blue Lounge.
Blue Lounge.
Yes.
Co-op.
Yes. So
I
that.
live on the Neilston Road.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, do you know that wee shop was like a wee shell, and then I rented it off Mark the Barber, and I had to put the floor down, and that floor's still there. Yes, God love my Uncle Dennis. He's passed away now, but he laid those tiles. So I look at that wee shop and I'm like, oh, how far we have come since then. Yes.
So you just needed more space, so that you moved up to Barrhead?
So we moved up to Barrhead, and I think I actually manifested that shop because I used to drive past my shop all the time in Barrhead, and I'm like, it was the balloon shop, and it always looked cracking. Yeah. And if you know me, I'm a sucker for a balloon.
Yeah, you love a balloon.
I love a balloon. I've always got something in the windows. And when my lease was up, and I thought, God, it's tiny in there, that one came up for lease, and I went, that's for me.
It's meant to be.
It was meant to be. And it was a balloon shop, so as you can imagine, I had to start all over again. But we got there, so it was fine eventually.
Is it Fiona that does your balloons?
It's always Fiona. Fiona's the best. Fiona's actually just a cracking person as well. She is. I've actually known Fiona since I was really wee, like kicking about the underage drinking.
No way.
Yep.
We'll shout it out.
How far we have come.
How far you've gone.
How far we have come.
She's Glow Promotions for NFT.
Yes. Anybody, I always like to make my windows epic at all times. Basically, if anyone tries to outdo me, I get really angry about it. So Fiona is well prepped every Christmas. Like, Fiona, you know,
I need a theme.
Everybody,
that's extra.
Well, I know I go themed every year, and like I tell her basically, you go do you, but don't ever do anyone better than me.
No. How far in advance are you like prepping for this?
Well, we know this year's window already, and because we decided it in Christmas this year.
Really?
Yeah.
And you just tell her, right, get planning, let's go. Well,
she knocks it out the park. See if I give her enough time. She always knocks it out, and she's always so nice. And we're hoping that she'll become our neighbour soon. Can't say too much, but so we're praying that Fiona's up the road from us, and then we can have coffee with her because she's the best. Yeah,
she's the best. Right, wrapping it back. We're going for tangent.
Sorry.
This is going to keep happening. It's fine. Okay, so the extensions, you moved into Jellies Paisley, then Jellies Barrhead. So it's always been the extensions that you do. Do you do anything else to do with hair, or?
Well, no, I am genuinely a one-trick pony, to be quite honest. There's nothing that special about me. You should see me when I actually break into sweat when people ask me for a pin curl. I'm like, I don't like doing them.
Oh no!
I'll do them, but I don't enjoy it. So I am the extension girl. So that's why when I was saying to you earlier about it's a team effort, everybody who works within the shop all has their thing that they're good at, and then we all kind of feed off each other. So I'll say, I'm like, look, that's your gig. Like, you're the colour girl. On. Like, you crack on. And I just base myself on hair extensions. That's all I'm good at, to be honest.
I feel like it's a minefield, hair extensions.
It is.
So like, I was having a look, and I've got this list right.
Oh.
This was options.
Wow.
Nano bonds, weaves, tapes, pre-bond, keratin, ultra tips. What the fuck? What? How do you know what you get? How do you know what you want? What the hell?
The thing is, that is what a consultation is for. To be fair, it is a minefield, right? And there's so many different options, but it's a good thing because every single option is catered to a different type of person. So, you know, you might come in and go, 300 gram weave for me, please. And I'm like, so, well, tell me about your day. And it's like, oh, well, I work out twice a day, and, you know, I don't really like doing my hair, and I tie it up, and I'm like, yep, 300 gram weave's not for you, because you know, there is reasons why there is so many different types, because they're so versatile, and not every extension is for every person. To be honest, most extensions are catered for different types of people, so it's really important that it's nailed at your consultation, because you're spending an absolute arm and a leg. So you don't want to spend all this money, get them fitted. They might look great in the first week, and then you go home and try and dry them, and you're like, oh my God, because you don't know what you're doing. So it's really important that you come in, and there's always something for somebody. And if there's not, there's a paper bag we can cut holes in the eyes and send you on your way. Only joking. I would never do that. I've done it once, just never again.
So the consultation is important then for you to know. So like, do each of them mean something in terms of like if you're wanting just thicker hair, depending if you want longer hair? Like I've never had extensions. I have
you don't need them, man. You get great hair.
But like I literally have no idea. People be like, oh, I'm getting my weave, and I'm like, what's that?
I know, the thing is as well, it's an actual, you are right, it's a minefield, right? Because every type of method, you can go for a different style. So for example, if you do just like look at your hair, you've got amazing hair, but say you want just a wee bit more thickness, you, depending on your texture, you know, the condition of your hair, you might actually you could have any types of these extensions put in, but it differs. So I could say to you, right, we'll put 60 grams of pre-bonded in your hair.
And like literally, I'm stupid. The grams is the weight.
Right, okay. Right? Okay. But pre-bonded is glue. And some people go, ah! When they see, they're like, don't want glue in my hair.
So you're gluing it to your hair
follicles? Because you're gluing it to your hair follicles, right? Even though that is my favourite method, and it always has been, but it's not for everybody, because some people are just like, nope, don't want that in my hair. It's actually the most less maintenance one, because once it's glued in, and it's not coming out for 6 months. But there's pros and cons to that. So then I would say to somebody, let's go for nanos. So a nano is put in with a wee tiny bead, clip it onto the follicles, come back every 10 to 12 weeks, and we push them back up. Same here. And there's not really any product kind of left in your hair. You know, there's not too much tension. It depends. This is the thing. You can think of all the different methods, and there's pros and cons to each one of them. Because I always say to somebody, yeah, we could go for nanos if you don't fancy glue, but are you committed to come back to me every 10 to 12 weeks, get them refitted, and pay £60 every 10 to 12 weeks? And they're like, shit, no, I don't have that type of money. I'm only paying for my lashes. So then we have to look at a different option, and then work out again, back to the drawing board, what we can do. And that's usually how it works. And the nano ones are the ones that you can sometimes see in people's hair when they're kind of low. Well, you shouldn't really see them ever. Really see them. Oh, they should be all very well hidden. Oh, that's all about placement. That's bad fitting. That's bad fitting. And bad fit, like that's the thing as well. So many people now do extensions, and don't get me wrong, we all have an off day, but there is no excuse, I will say now, for bad extensions, because there's so much training out there. You're open to so much through social media, but some girls just give it a shot anyway, and it looks tragic. But what can you do? Do you get a lot of people coming in that have had bad experiences, and you need to fix, or they try and get you to fix them, or they're like emotional and crying about it? Oh God, we had a girl once that I shouldn't really be telling this. Don't tell it. No, so basically a girl came in once, and she had a woolly hat on. She had a woolly hat on, and it was quite high. It was kind of like a Marge Simpson kind of vibe, right? So I thought, that's a really tall hat. So anyway, she comes in, and she takes the hat off, and when I mean her hair was up like a brick at the top of her hair, it was the genuine weave. It was matted into her hair, and it had grown up the way. Now, obviously, didn't know the background too much of how this happened. Well, we'll do a wee bit, but can't say too much. But obviously, it was just extremely poor keeping, and you know, a lot of maybe personal things that went on and whatnot. But we genuinely couldn't get our finger through it. So in that case, no, but like it was that bad. It was actually like a dreadlock. So it was like, how do you get that out? That would need to be sheared off. that there's no helping that, because that's kind of unsalvageable. Unless you were going to commit to getting a hair loss system after that, because we can do meshes which are sewed onto the top of the head as a hair loss, because if you're taking that thing off, you're going to have to take the hair really, really short to the root, because it was that merged onto the head that there was no saving it.
Is that what you done, or did she leave?
No, we decided the hair extension weren't done by us, so we thought we'll just leave you be, but good luck with that, because that would have been very uncomfortable to get off.
That is so sad.
Yep.
My God.
But we get stuff like that all the time. But what I would say about hair extensions, a lot of people would come in and they'll say to us, I've had these extensions, they've been terrible, they're a nightmare. But I always think of the person that's fitted them, because see, 9 times out of 10, I give a care sheet away with hair extensions, because yes, it's all great, get them fitted and send you on your merry way and you look after them. Sometimes people just don't look after them. So like when people say these extensions have been terrible, I'm looking at them going, no, they've just not been brushed in a week, so so you get all these kind of problems.
Why are you not brushing your hair extensions?
Listen, you would be shocked about the amount of things that come through the door. Sometimes you're like, what have you been doing? Brushing your hair with a bar of soap? Like, it's bizarre.
You're spending hundreds and hundreds of pounds, like, when you give them a brush.
Some folk don't though. I mean, not really my clients. My clients are...
Hey, they're warned.
They're warned and very nice. I've got a very nice clientele. Most of them even give it a wash before they come in. They're very good. Very good. But yeah, we've had some really interesting... A lot of blame games. So like, it will be like, oh, I went here and these are terrible. And I'm like, they're actually not that bad. But have you got a care sheet? No. Well, that's probably not helping to why you're not being able to look after them. But, extensions are a minefield. They are a minefield. Yeah. But I love it. I've done it for so long that it doesn't bother me.
You had a couple of videos that I was watching and I wanted to just ask you about, and you kind of touched on it there, the mesh integration.
Yes.
You're talking about a client in one of the videos and I thought, explain to me what that is, because you said it's like you put it on the head and did the hair grow through it, or?
Yeah, kind of. So the mesh integration is a system that was created by applying mesh to the top of somebody's head, weaving it through breathable mesh, and then we sew a closure on top. So it's like, see if you take apart a wig, you've got your top and then you've got your wefts that like attach a wig. So it's kind of like wearing a permanent wig, but it's got a lot more benefits to it, because obviously your hair is breathable through the mesh, so it gives your own hair time to breathe. Because a lot of people you find with hair loss, that I think it's one of these sometimes vicious circles, because you're stressed because you're losing your hair, then your hair is, you're losing your hair because you're stressed. So it's kind of a vicious cycle. But what we found with the mesh when they're applied, see when somebody's 8-week fitting comes up, so basically the mesh is on, you need to come back 4 weeks for a pinch forward. So we just pinch the mesh forward ever so slightly, sew it back down to make it a little bit more secure. And then 4 weeks after that, you come back for your full fitting. We take the wefts off, take all the mesh off, your closure, give your head a good scrub, then reapply again. But what we usually find, not everybody, but 80%, see their natural hair after they've wore the closure for a while, it starts to get better, because it's when you think it's like the placebo effect, maybe because you're not bothered, you're not stressed about it because you can't see it. Then your hair itself is getting time to grow, it's getting time to let all the oil and nutrients come back in. So, a lot of the time, we've got a girl just now, Kate, who was going through some chemo treatment and her hair wouldn't grow, and she was at her wit's end. It was like, honestly, it was like 2 inches. It was, it was sad, and she's such a gorgeous woman, and she was so, you could tell it was getting her down, and she was just really upset about it, and basically started wearing the mesh, and we only wore it, she only had it on genuinely a couple of months. Well, she's now rocking a short bob.
You're joking?
No. So her hair is growing, and she goes to Maria in the shop for colour. She only gets nanos now to kind of even out and thicken out her bob. But she actually is like, I can't believe what that done for me. She went out. The problem with her was she was washing her hair every day. See, with the hair, her normal hair, she was washing it every day. She was putting a hat on because she just absolutely hated it. So I think she was just like scunnered. She was scunnered in this shitty circle of, I'm at my wit's end with this. Yeah. But I always say this to folk. See if you know how people go, oh, my hair's greasy, whatever. See, in our salon, right, see everyone that works there, we are the absolute clatty club, right? None of us wash our hair. I washed my hair for you tonight, Gemma.
Oh, thank you. I feel privileged.
Yeah, you should feel privileged because it's usually stinking. Curtis over there could probably smell me if I hadn't washed it. So what I always try and say to people, and it's the same with extensions and everything else, there is a reason your hair gets greasy. It's actually not grease, it's oil. Your follicles are meant to replenish. That's the whole point. It's like your skin. How bad do you feel when your skin's really dry and it's flaky and it feels tight? It's awful. And then we smash loads of moisturiser on it. Well, you're lucky enough that your head actually produces all these nutrients to let your hair kind of replenish. So when somebody's been getting mesh on, they cannot physically properly wash it underneath of their hair. It cannot be coloured and it cannot be cut properly. So for all these weeks, all these nutrients are coming in and it's replenishing. And actually, we see the same thing with hair extensions as well. A lot of girls get extensions in and they cannot be arsed washing their hair because they've now got all this hair.
Aye.
So a lot of them just do slick packs or they put a wee bit of dry shampoo in, and because the extensions themselves look so good, they go, don't actually need to wash this looks class.
Aye.
So you go from a girl that's never wore a mesh extensions to washing their hair 3 times a week. You usually find they usually go down to once a week and just get that old spray on it, you know,
Aye.
but to freshen it up. But 9 times out of 10 when their hair extensions come out or their mesh come off, their own hair is actually so much better because you've actually given it time to breathe.
So this thing.
Yeah.
And like, so the mesh, is there like, this is literally a stupid question.
No, it's not.
Pure, don't have no clue. When you're talking about the mesh, is there like hair, like a wig is part of it, or is it just like mesh?
No, so the mesh is like, I'll obviously have to show you a picture of this before I leave. Yeah. So obviously it's actual mesh, so it's stretchy, breathable mesh, and then we put the microbeads all the way through to connect it all the way through the natural hair.
Yeah.
The closure, which I was telling you about, is like a 4x4 or a 5x4, and it's actually hair with a scalp.
Right.
So we put it into its parting, and you know, it actually looks like a scalp. So we basically like tweeze away the hairline. So it actually looks like it's like your proper scalp. So that's sewed on first.
Okay.
And then because obviously that the closure falls over, underneath we've connected rows of weft onto the mesh.
Right.
The mesh is there to act as a support system for attaching on, because a lot of people's hair, you know, that come from mesh, the hair's weak, you know, because either due to treatment or due to stress or due to, you know, things going on in their life that unfortunately has led to their hair becoming weak and thin. So we have to add the mesh in there to obviously act as a support, because a lot of people's hair could not physically hold the weight of the extensions, but the mesh can, because the mesh is attached to the beads and we sew through the mesh and the beads. That's how it works.
Do you get quite a lot of clients that get that?
Yeah.
Really?
We don't. Do you know something? It's one of those ones. There's a girl that I actually went and did a shadow day with. I actually love her. Her name's Steph. She owns Iconic Hair. I don't know if you've seen her down south. She is such a nice girl. She is a vibe. I love her. So basically, she does a lot of TikTok videos about this, and her full salon is based on mesh. We don't promote it really that much because we've found our clients don't really like to be filmed, but that is fine, and that's completely understandable. Yeah. So it's just this Steph, she's so good at, you know, bringing it to camera and bringing it to life, whereas I don't do it as much because I like, a lot of my clients like to keep it confidential, which is fine, but it would be lovely to show more, but it's got to think of the person in the chair first.
It's a hard one. Yeah.
It's a hard one, but it's totally understandable. Always.
And does it work with people with like alopecia and things like that?
Yeah. I'm actually coming soon.
Teaser.
I'm actually going to do training on something very soon. Can't say too much. That the problem with alopecia is that if there isn't anything there to attach, because a lot of people have like kind of spotting alopecia, so they've only got parts of their hair missing, so there's obviously something still we can attach the mesh to. But if you've got full alopecia, then there's nothing a lot we can do. But stay tuned. I'm doing something that's adhesive based in the next couple of weeks, that somebody that has no hair, there will be an option. So yes.
How exciting.
Yes.
Helping everybody. Yeah.
Trying my best.
Trying your best.
Trying my best. I try and do this all. By the way, I don't do anything very well. So I'm sitting here talking a baller game, but anyone that works with me and does know me will go,
we'll be watching this later, right, Jill?
Yeah, they'll be like, yeah, she'll get that done, but I do things like, I'm like, you know, the swan, so it looks like I'm gliding, but really underneath the legs are heavy going like the clappers. So yeah, but I've got all these big plans for these things, so I just hope through my dealing with my children and the shop and life, it all just comes to plan in the next couple of months.
It will.
Yes.
And there was one other thing that I was watching that I thought was quite interesting, that might be a normal thing, but like literally no clue.
Okay.
The service where you do the retip recondition. What is that? What does that? Because you were talking about, obviously they're so expensive, you don't have to throw them away. So extensions, I'm assuming, get done.
Yeah.
And then what do you like, save them?
So basically, for years, like honestly, my full business was based on glue pre-bonded extensions. Like I based everything on them. So the nanos and the waves and everything kind of came after for me, because I can glue hair. That is one thing I can do.
Glue gal.
I'm the glue gal. But with the extensions, you have them in for 6 months. My bonds are pretty tight and they're airtight. They ain't coming out. But in 6 months' time, they're ready to come out because they've grown down so much that they're actually hanging by your earlobes and they're in your pony. So it's time. But with a lot of the time for years, see the hair, we would just bin it. And it was such a shame because loads of girls, and I only use one brand. I use Hair Kings because they are the shiz. So basically, their hair quality, even after 6 months, the hair was always still good. And I used to be like, that is an absolute waste getting that binned. Like, honestly, it was not eco-friendly. And then you also think, there's poor bloody folk out there that could use that. You know, it was crap.
It's a fortune to get it again.
They're honestly, like, I'm reasonably priced in the market, I would say. And the hair itself is extortionate. You're talking hundreds of quid. Yeah. Like, and that's even for tiny amounts. Yeah. So you can imagine when you get a full head, it's a lot. So basically what we invested in is a system where we can take off the old bit of glue at the top and we can rebond the hair. So basically what we do is the hair we take out, put a new cuticle, like pre-bonded tip on it, leave it in protein, like it's like a mask to kind of recondition it, blow dry it, ready to go straight back into the hair for another 6 months. And they only pay to get it retipped because they don't have to buy new hair. So it's, when I mean a fraction of the cost. Yeah. And honestly, for years, I can't believe we never thought of this sooner. But I'm so glad we're doing it now because it's saving people so much money. And also, I don't feel as bad now because I'm like, what bloody waste.
Aye, throwing it all away.
Yeah.
That's great.
I know.
And loads of people do that.
Loads of people do it. And then just recently, actually, I reached out to a company called, have you seen, I think it's called Little Lady Locks. I don't know if you've seen it. I can't remember the girl of Love Island who shaved her hair off. Did you see? Is it Cara? Is that her name, Cara?
I don't think it is Cara.
Is it not Cara?
What is her name?
Oh, it's terrible. She's such a pretty girl and she basically took all her hair off. But what we've started to do in the last couple of weeks is bag up all the hair that we have that isn't getting retipped, and we're going to send it down there to donate to the wee girls for their wigs.
That's amazing.
It's just that there's piles of it, so I just, instead of like binning it now, even when you don't get it retipped, I'm like, that's going down there because
100%.
Yeah, so we've got a massive box going down there because it's knowing that it's going to good use, and then it's kind of like the full circle of hair extensions, so it's doing good all round. So
is it something similar to like when people have really, really long hair and they get it cut for like charity?
The Little Princess Trust.
Princess Trust.
Yes, it's like that, but this time it's somebody's done with their hair and it's going to a good cause.
Reuse, recycle.
Yes,
absolutely. Okay, so in the salon, you've got like people that work with you, sort of thing. Like, are they like actual staff that you manage, or are they like all self-employed type situation?
No, trust me, they manage me. Honestly, I can't run a bar, let alone a business. I swear.
You're wild, by the way.
It's true though. So yeah, over the years, I've only ever had like two employed like years ago. But I wouldn't do that now. I kind of like, I'm a bit of a lone wolf that way. I kind of just like doing my thing and like letting everybody else do theirs. It works really well for us. And everybody that's worked within the shop, I think because it is such a relaxed environment, very relaxed. So I kind of just don't tread on other people's toes because, to be honest, they're all flying in there. So I just let them, I just come in, show up, and then I leave just to say the same. But yeah, they all do their own thing. They're all self-employed, but we all very much work together. But when it comes to the kind of business side of things, they do their own thing.
Yeah, and everybody's got their own. You said like not topic, but like sort of skill set.
Yeah,
like you were like, oh no, I don't touch the pin cuddle.
No, I don't. Ooh, no, I'm really lucky though because like I think over the years I've worked with quite a lot of people like that do different things. So Maria, who is she is the main man of Jellies. Don't be fooled, it's Maria that actually runs the show.
How's she not here?
Do you know something? I should have actually brought her. She's class. She's one of my best pals. She is amazing. Can't actually say too many good things about her because she'll get a big head. But she's class. She's amazing. But she is our head colourist. So like everybody goes to her for colour. But that's what I was going to say. In the shop, there's quite a lot of people that do hair extensions. We've just had a few leave there. They're away to do their own thing. But we've got a lovely girl, Courtney, who's called Coco Locks. She's coming in. But I'm really lucky to say that, I don't know if you've heard of the Hair Saint. She was always based in Paisley. Her name's Charlene. It's not just the Hair Saint. She is a bloody hair saint, mind you. But yeah, so Charlene works with us now in the shop. And it's actually a privilege to work with Charlene because I always looked up to Charlene for years and years because she's absolutely class at her craft, and she now works in the shop with us, but she's amazing. But that's a lot of people have said to me over the years, why do you work with other people that do hair extensions? Like, does that not take away from you? But honestly, I'm not like that because I always feel like either people come to me or they won't come to me, but everybody's got their kind of own creative flair. And if anything, it actually helps and inspires you having people do the same thing around you. Because, I mean, trust me, like Charlene is far, like her precision is way better than mine. But like, so like I'll be looking over like, oh, maybe I should be doing it that way. But she's so good at her craft. But it really helps when you work with creative people that are really good. So I think that's why it's good to feed off one another. And even though we work separately, we are together. But I get a lot from the people I work with. Like, honestly, over the years, I've had some interesting characters. But trust me, like, for the bad, there's been just equally as amazing. So, and some that you don't keep in touch with, but you admire them from afar, and they're doing really well. And I kind of always get a bit proud when I see the ones that have left and done their own thing, because I'm like, we all started together. That was good, But it's good. It's the shop's brilliant. It sounds terrible. I don't feel like I go to work. No, because it's just an absolute laugh. Like every day,
it's just chaos.
It's chaos, but it's fun.
It's organised chaos.
Yeah, I just come here to do hair and have a laugh, and that's it, really.
But that's the way everybody's job should be. Just have a laugh, enjoy yourself.
I don't know if you're like this because obviously you were just touching on the tans and stuff like that, and like I can even just tell that you just think it's hilarious. But we're actually really lucky because we are the minority, because not most folk go to work and actually want to put their head through a window before they get there. I know. Whereas I definitely don't. I actually feel that way when I go home and then I have to deal with those children of mine. I'm like, oh my God.
Send me back to the shop.
Send me back to the shop. But yeah, I love my job. Like I don't really feel like I work. So I'm actually very blessed in that way.
That's so good.
Yep.
Have you ever felt any like challenges though, like with being the sort of self-employed, like in the kind of...
I had a stroke 2 years ago.
What?
Yes. So that was the big turning point in my life, if I'm honest, Gemma. So I was always 100 miles per hour. There was at one point where I had the Falkirk shop, I had a makeup shop that I rented out to people, and then I had Jellies Paisley. And I had a really rocky time, and I split with my husband for a year. I think it was just like loads of pressure and everything else. So basically, COVID happened, and I still had all this stuff going on. And then I was like, this is mental. Anyway, was back with my husband, and we were great. Ended up having another baby. And after COVID, so throw a baby into the mix of having all this stuff. And one day, it was a Tuesday, I woke up and sat up in my bed, and I was like, I don't feel well, and I threw up in bed, and within 25 minutes I had a stroke. I was taken away in an ambulance and was in hospital. I had to stay off my work for weeks, and in the midst of that, my dad unfortunately bowel perforated, and he died a few weeks later of bowel cancer. So at that point in my life 2 years ago, I had all this stuff going on, and I felt like all these plates were spinning. And I think the problem with like young people in general, you look at Instagram, right, and you just want to get on. You want to have the best content, the best looking life. You just want everything to be A-gamed all the time. Like, who's got the biggest dick awards, right? All the time. And in actual fact, right, I realised at that moment in time when that was taken up, when I was just lying there, like, I don't know what to do here. I had a 10-month-old baby at home. My dad was so ill and I was recovering from a stroke. And I actually was like, enough is enough. I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. Because there was points where my dad was in the hospice. I couldn't drive because I was not allowed to. And I was getting calls, you know, from my mum and that to say, oh, can you pop down to the hospice because your dad's... And I was stuck away out in Falkirk, and I was just... It all came basically as a really cruel realisation at that time, going, business is so great, right? And it's important and you need it to get on in your life, that it genuinely is not the be all and end all. And trust me, from someone that's had several businesses, trying to do everything, trying to be the top dog, it's just not worth it. See the burnout, it's not worth it. And I learned it, unfortunately, in the worst way from, you know, being so ill myself, and then with my dad passing away, I went, I'm not doing this anymore, because I just looked at my kids. I've got 2 wee girls, Lois and Drew, and I've got a lovely husband, and I've got lovely friends and family. I wasn't seeing my friend. I wasn't seeing my family. I wasn't looking after my own health when I was trying to recover from all that. And I just went, not doing it. So a couple of years ago, I decided to give up the Falkirk shop. So I gave it up, and I now work 4 days a week in the Barrhead shop. I live 3 minutes from the Barrhead shop. So honestly, because Falkirk was an hour and 20 minutes every day.
Big commute. Yeah,
big commute every day. And I would work 12-hour shifts to make it worthwhile, you know, for the driving distance and stuff like that. And now I do drop-offs, I do pickups. I'm there every night. I see my pals. And guess what? I still do fucking hair. And I love it again. So, like, I don't now look at life... yes, business is important. You'll know yourself what it's like, and we're all trying to, you know, get on the steam train of it all. But yeah, from someone that's learned cruel lessons along the way, it's just not worth it. It's not worth your health, like, to put so much pressure on yourself. And I suppose that's been the biggest challenge that I've had, is to try and accept, Jill, it's okay just to not be so busy all the time and run yourself into the ground, because the most successful people in the world aren't the ones burnt out. They're not the ones that are like, obviously there's loads of really successful rich people, but the really happy ones, like, don't let themselves get like that. You know, they actually enjoy their lives. So I have definitely become a better person the last 2 years, and I definitely have a great work-life balance.
Yeah, I think that's a good lesson. Like, work-life balance is crucial. And see, when you're self-employed, I've talked about this a lot with other people, like, you are like, right, what's next? And you're constantly looking at other people going, like, they're ahead of me. But like, why? And like, I was listening to something recently, and they said, like, success shouldn't be valued as financially. Success should be valued, like, happiness-wise. Yeah, like, it should be. You happy in, like, what you're doing? Like, whereas you can get pure stressed out, burnt out, and it's just not worth it. So
no, it's not. And you know, it's funny. Obviously, I've worked with lots of people that do the same thing as me, and I watch them, like, through social media and stuff like that, and they're doing their training, they're doing this, they're doing that, and sometimes I'll go, I should be doing that, like, which by the way I am doing, but then I step back and go, Jill, you're a mother of 2. You've also got 2 sausage dogs and a cat, and you've got a house to run. So I cannot physically do all these things. And do you know what? See, when I go home at night and my wee 2 girls are like, let's watch Bluey, I'm like, yes, we're watching Bluey. And see, if I've been at work, I've had a great day, I've done my job, I am now content, Gemma, in the stage of my life that I can go, I'm cool just to sit and watch Bluey with my 2 lovely wee girls, because I'll never get that back. So Yeah, life is good because, and it's, as you were saying, with you're self-employed, you put all this, you're like a performing monkey because you've got, it's not, you can't just go and do your job now. You need to turn up, videographer, choreographer. Yeah. Honestly, you're the cleaner, you're the accountant, you're everything. But see if you can just go,
switch off.
Mm-hmm. I don't have to be wearing all these hats all the time. And trust me, from knowing from my own health and my own experiences, your family and your friends are the most important thing in your life. And see, anything else that comes after that, it's a bonus. So if you can make it all kind of work, then it's good.
Love that.
Well, that's true.
So we're actually coming to the end of the podcast.
Gutted.
So I know we could chat all day long, all night long. So the last part of the podcast is what the podcast is all about.
Okay.
So I'd like you to hype up a small business, a charity, or someone that deserves the spotlight, and tell me why. We have done a lot, and I will tag them all.
Okay.
But any from the other ones.
Okay. I was actually thinking about this because I obviously, Kirsty, the lovely Kirsty from Facebook had mentioned me as her recommendation. Yep. So shout out to you, Kirsty. But there is actually a few, and they're very diverse and they're quite different because they're all very good friends of mine, and I've known them for 30 odd years, two of them, and one of them, my friend that I'm going to mention, I have known her for 20 years now, and it's really important that I mention these girls because they're very different, but they're great. So my first one is my friend Mary Caulfield, and my friend Mary owns Float, which is the relaxation pods.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so basically they're like rehabilitation pods, and you float in them, and it's relaxation. It's like salt water and stuff. Probably giving it the worst description in the world.
Like, that's
not it, Jill. But I have been Mary's friend since nursery.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so we went through primary, secondary, and we're still extremely good friends now. But Mary was she just played one of the leads in Legally Blonde at the Kings.
No way.
She did. She played Claudette. Is it Claudette? You know,
the funny one.
Yeah, she played Claudette at the Kings, and she's also just done the lead as Calamity Jane at the Eastwood Theatre. But see, she's amazing. She's an amazing person. But the reason I'm hyping her up is because Mary's a mum. She's gonna be Robin, right? And Mary is an absolute buzz bomb, right? See, to be around her, she's like got this business with her husband Alex, well, boyfriend, partner, whatever. Alex is sound as well. So she's got wee Robin. She's, she takes on these massive roles, and through the theatre she does these, and they don't get paid for it. They do that. Mm-hmm. And she's got Float. She's absolutely, she's doing it all, and she does it with the biggest smile on her face. And I think she's just an amazing person. The second person I'm going to mention is my friend Cassie from Clyde One. Cassie is also a part of the 30 friendship group. So Cassie, nursery, primary, secondary, we were neighbours. So Cassie, with like Mary, because we're in the same group. Cassie, I know Cassie so personally that with all the things that have happened in life and whatnot, and she's amazing because she comes on every morning and makes everybody laugh. And my wee girl's always like, "There's Cassie!" And I'm like that. And you know something? She's hilarious. Her and George just bounce off each other. But the reason I'm mentioning Cassie and Mary, because they're very, very different people.
Yeah.
But what I admire about them both so much is that, see, no matter what's going on in either of those girls' days, they are complete natural performers in the sense of they will bring happiness to anybody's day in that day. So no matter when you meet them, where they are, they're just buzzies. They're so buzzy to be around, and they're amazing. And I think it really helps that I've been pals with them for 30 years, so I know them. They're nice people.
Yeah.
And it's so good when you've had pals for that long, and to see them roar in success, it's fucking brilliant.
And you know what? They'll be saying the same thing.
Well, I hope so. They'll just be like, "Oh, that daft hairdresser, Jill." But oh no. And then my other friend that I wanted to mention is my friend Nikki. Now, I don't know if you've heard of Mimi's in Stirling. Mimi's is the brunch joint. Everybody, it's been getting so much press. It's all over TikTok. But my friend Nikki, I was her bridesmaid many moons ago. That was my friend who had the clothes shop in Stirling, who gave me the chair.
The deckchair.
So this is why it all swings and roundabouts.
Full circle. Full circle.
So Nikki is a mother of 3. She is the most glamorous person you've ever met. And I'm not joking. When I mean she is a plate spinner, she owns King Con's out in Stirling, which is a really popular pub. And then she owns Mimi's, the brunch place, and it's all exquisite. And see the detail that Nikki does to everything. See the way that Nikki looks. Yeah. It's the way all her businesses are presented. She is immaculate in everything that she does. And guess what? She's amazing as well. So, yeah, they're the three I would say that spring to mind. But I think it really helps that they are actually friends and they're actual soaring. And they're Mary and Nikki are mums, and they do it so well. They're fantastic mothers, and I know what it's like. It's so difficult, but they make it look easy what they're doing, and it's not. So, and probably the last person I would like to mention is Maria, who I work with, because do you know what? She's my best pal.
She's the real boss of Jellies.
She really is. She is the boss of Jellies. You know, she's like a spirit animal. Like, she's way old before her time. She actually gives me life lessons, and she's only 24, but she's a right home bird. She's so good at what she does. She looks like a Victoria's Secret model and opens her mouth and she's pure Glenburn, but she's an actual salt of the earth, amazing person, and she's fully booked every day, and there's a reason for that, because she's class.
Oh,
that's all the hyping I'm going to do. All you with your big head now, if you're listening.
Watching our first video. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Oh, thank you so much. I mean, you're really amazing too, and honestly, I've really enjoyed our time together.
I know.
And Curtis.
I know. Curtis. Hype up you.
Yay.
But thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
So I'll be tagging everybody that Jill's hyped up on the post. So please follow her, follow everybody she's talked about.
Thank you.
And please like, subscribe, share, all of that.
Yay, go Hype Club.
Hype Club. Woo, woo, woo. And I'll see you next time. Bye.